saw a poster like this, you wouldn't immediately start thinking, this is a must-see, it's possibly one of the best films of the year. You see a poster like this, you think, to-be TV at best, and complete bastardizing ripoff of Jurassic Park at worst, but the real question is it any of those things? After all, you shouldn't be judging a book by its cover, right? So Uncork'd Entertainment recently sent me a screener to see Jurassic Island a little bit early. It'll be available on most digital platforms on Tuesday, April 5th. So let's get into it. Jurassic Island focuses on a young woman who travels with a group of others to a remote and long-lost island to find her father who has recently gone missing. On the island, she discovers that not only is it inhabited by extinct prehistoric dinosaurs, but there's also an infection on the loose that renders its victims zombified. That's right, dinosaurs and zombies. So, does this B-movie have a list of hidden gems, making it one of the best films of the year after all? No. What you see here is pretty much what you get. It's not great, but movies like this aren't really trying to be great by any typical film standard either. A lot of times, these are made to appeal to a very specific niche of people, and sometimes I find myself in that niche, like right now. Jurassic Island, in my opinion, was a lot of fun. When the film first began and you see a lot of people on an island, I was preparing myself to see what these dinosaurs looked like and possibly how bad they were. But when a zombie starts showing up instead, charging after people, I couldn't help myself but burst out laughing. I was like, why is there zombies in a dinosaur movie? But you know what? Why not? I'm all for it, let's go. From there you do see the dinosaurs and yeah, we're talking PlayStation 1, Sega Dreamcast visuals. It's ridiculous, and yet I find myself enamored by the film as a whole. Honestly, you can approach it two entirely different ways, but the outcome is almost always going to be the same. For instance, you can go into the film expecting another stupid on purpose film, not unlike Sharknado or Velocipaster. I have not seen either of those movies, but from what I understand, they were always striving to be as ridiculous as humanly possible. But is that what Jurassic Island is, or was it a film that was trying to be serious? Because that's the second way that you can approach the film, as a genuine attempt at making a real movie. Like I said though, it matters not how you approach it, because regardless, the end result's the same. Because even though I expected to be bombarded with ridiculous things and bad graphics, I was met with that. But I was also met with a halfway decent display of acting, individuality from the characters, and a fairly decent filming location. They could have easily just shot this entire movie in front of a green screen and let that be that. But they shot this on what I perceive to be, and believe to be, an island. Just like in Jurassic Park, though Jurassic Park is obviously better, but that's besides the point. The people in the movie were good. They all mostly had a reason to be there, and a lot of blockbusters have a problem separating characters like that, and even some decisions made in the lighting department help the visuals stand out a little more than it ever really needed to stand out, which is great. But if you're watching this movie as a serious film, you'll appreciate those things and then hate it for whenever dinosaurs showed up because they looked and acted like the graphics were rendered in 1984. So what this movie does is, regardless of how you approach the film, you'll be met with an inconsistency that you were not expecting. And depending on who you are, you might hate that. I personally had a different problem with the dinosaurs that didn't actually have anything to do with the graphics, but rather their utilization. The movie is indeed called Jurassic Island, most likely in an attempt to capitalize on the Jurassic Park brand, but it should have probably been called something like Dinos and Zombies, or something like that, because there was actually more zombie plot lines and screen time than the dinosaurs themselves. But truth be told, if you're wondering if the story of the film works, it does. It's a search and rescue film where the island they wind up on is full of mystery and danger, and while that's nothing new and full of stereotypes and tropes, it still works for what it is. And I found myself having a good time overall, even though I do realize that the film is far from perfect and far from what most people would consider good. I fully expected the entire thing to be garbage soup, and I was waiting to claw my eyes out by the end of it. But I actually kind of like it, and don't kill me here, but I also wouldn't mind seeing it again sometime down the line. So from a technical, unbiased perspective, I can't exactly give the film glowing remarks. Obviously, it has some pretty awful visual effects when it comes down to the dinosaurs, and even some of the makeup work done on the zombies. Some of that seems shoddy. But I can at least respect what they were doing with the human characters, the mystery of the film, the diversity of the characters, and the filming location. So even though it's not a perfect, unbiased score, it's far better than it could be at 60%. As for how I personally felt about the film, or my bias score, that's pretty similar. I enjoyed it, but I'm not gonna lie and say it's the greatest film in the world. It has issues, obviously, and those issues and inconsistencies will likely affect anybody who watches it in a negative way. So this score is very similar to the unbiased score, where it's not great, it's not horrible, but it is 62%. Meaning that when we combine the two scores together, we come to the final rating of 61%. 61 out of 100 possible stars. Again, the film comes out on Tuesday on most digital platforms. If you end up seeing it, let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. And as for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button, and bell to be notified when I come out with my next review. And until then, peace out.